Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. I've got no juice in this one, just been sipping on some water. But yeah, in this one we're going to be talking about how to make the narcissist value you again. Because as we know, at some point in the relationship, they begin to devalue their victim. They start to insult you and put you down. They start getting comfortable around you to where they just don't really even appreciate you anymore. They take you for granted. It's like nothing you do for them even really matters to them at that point. So in this one, I am going to be telling you how you can make the narcissist value you again. By the end of this video, you will know how to do just that. And it's likely that if you use this advice, it will be effective. So how to make the narcissist value you again? First, you need to recognize that the victim initiates the devaluation. So they began to devalue you because of something that you said or did. And I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying that you likely disapproved of something they said or did. And you may not have openly told them about this, but they're always scanning the environment for threats. They're observing your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, so that they can always be 2 steps ahead of you and see if there is anything wrong, so that they can always be in a position of control and to protect themselves against rejection, abandonment, or exposure. So they noticed something in you where you disapproved of them. And then that is when they began to devalue you. Knowing that, that's one thing that could work. Start giving them compliments and praise. Just compliment them on little things about themselves, their appearance, or something that they may be interested in. I mean, remember, we are talking about narcissists here, so it's going to be something superficial that they're more concerned about. Make them feel special, make them feel important, make them feel attractive, desirable. That may just overturn that expression of disapproval that you had earlier on, which may have led to them devaluing you. So that is one thing to try. Give them compliments, praise them. If you're finding this video helpful so far, show your support by hitting the thumbs up button down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm to get this message out there to other survivors as well. But yeah, that's the first thing that I advise to get the narcissist to value you again. Compliment them, praise them. Honestly, narcissists, they cannot resist compliments. They just can't not react to it. If you praise them, you compliment them, they will be highly reactive to it. It will get their attention. And it will get them to value you again. Sorry about any distractions outside, any laughter. I know every time I do a live video, there's always people coming past laughing outside. But there isn't too much I can do about these patterns of behavior. But yeah, that's the first step to try, is to compliment them, give them praise. That could be quite effective. And another thing that you can do to get the narcissist to value you again is, and this is for those of you who are excessively trying to get their attention. You're always trying to get them to notice you. Up until this point, that hasn't been working. So if it hasn't been working, then do the opposite. Stop giving them your attention. Put your attention on something else. Because normally when they feel your energy shift and your focus goes on something else other than them, they feel that they're losing that supply. And then because of that, they may then reach out and try to get you back. And that's typically what I would advise in most situations. If you want the narcissist to value you again, just do the opposite of what you've been doing up until that point. It's likely to be quite effective. And another thing, if the narcissist has found a new supply, what you want to do is look at the new supply and see what it is that is attracting. Well, I say attracted, but narcissists are never really attracted physically or sexually to any of us. But, what is pulling them in that direction with the new source? What is it that they like about them? Typically, what we need to understand is that narcissists do not view us as people. We are just objects that exist to serve them and meet their needs. So if you want the narcissist to value you again, just don't be a separate person with your own feelings and needs. If you want a narcissist to value you, do not be a person. Do not show them your individuality, your sense of identity, your human qualities. And instead, to get a narcissist to value you again, objectify yourself. And not only that, and some of you may be quite surprised by this, but you also do not treat them as a human being. Do not expect any empathy or compassion from them. Do not expect any love or deep connection. And instead, yes, as crazy as this sounds, not only objectify yourself, if you want the narcissist to value you again, but objectify them. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds counterproductive. Because you would think automatically for a normal person, if you objectify them, they're probably not going to like it. They're probably going to turn against you, hate you, not want to talk to you again. Very different with narcissists. Yes, If you want the narcissist to value you again, objectify them. Look at them like an object. This attractive or desirable thing. Or this person who just has this image. They have a lot of money. They just have some superficial quality. I mean, just look at them. That's all they really want. All these narcs really want is to be objectified. They don't want to be looked at as real people, because that doesn't do anything for them. It doesn't give them supply. So by all means, yes. And this is very powerful, because this is the type of exchange, the type of interaction that they desire and crave the most, more than anything else. You think they really care about real human connection? They despise that. It repulses them. They don't like it when you have that because they get envious, but they don't really want that for themselves. They prefer superficial interaction where people objectify themselves and each other. And it's all about superficial qualities. So yeah, that's what you got to do. If you want the narcissist to value you again, remember what I said. The victim tends to initiate the devaluation. I'm not blaming you for that, of course. But what I'm saying is that you may have disapproved of something they said or did and they didn't like it, even if you didn't openly say that to them. They may have read it in your body language, your facial expressions, your tone of voice. They're always scanning for threats, for slights or criticisms, for any signs of disapproval. They may have felt like you disapproved of them, so what could work, what could be effective is if you give them compliments and praise, especially on superficial things. And also another thing to identify is that whatever you've been doing up until this point, clearly it's not working. So do the opposite of what you've been doing, and it may have the opposite effect. It may make them value you again. And also, if they have a new source, take a look at the new source. What do you think it is that is pulling the narcissist in that direction? And maybe try to emulate those qualities or traits, whatever it is that they're looking for or that they found in this new person. Try to take on some of that yourself. And then that may make them value you again if that is what they are valuing in someone else right now. Why can't they value that in you? Because remember, people are just objects. They don't actually care about the actual person. It's more about how you can make them feel, what you can provide to them. That's what matters to them. And finally, my last point was to objectify yourself. Because remember, they don't want to deal with a separate person who has their own feelings and needs. They want an object that exists to serve them and meet their needs. They can't be bothered to listen to you, your problems, what you want. A narcissist, they just don't want to hear it. They want it to be all about them. They want you to be this object whose sole purpose is to please and satisfy them. So objectify yourself. And believe it or not, it may sound counterproductive, but objectify them as well. Yes, objectifying the narcissist will make them value you again. And when I say objectify them, compliment them on superficial things, their physical appearance, some superficial quality, their new car, they will love that. They don't want to be treated like an actual person with depth or substance. There's nothing a narcissist wants more than to be complimented on superficial qualities. There's nothing they want more than that. That is their supply. It validates the false self and the illusion. So this is what you need to do if you want the narcissist to value you again. But what I will say is that this is not my advice. I'm not telling you to go out and make the narcissist value you again. But of course not. I mean, after I've been doing this for over 5 years, I don't think I should have to get on here and even say that. But then we do have to consider that there may be new people watching this video. And, you know, as a life coach and a narcissist expert, I would never advise for you to try to get the narcissist back or to try to get them to value you again. I would never advise that. What I would advise is for you to just leave them alone, forget about them, go no contact, heal and move on from them. That's my advice. Of course, I understand not everyone is there yet. We're all at different parts of the healing journey. I get that. And I recognize parts of my healing journey where, yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want the narcissist to value me again. Not right now, of course, but before, yeah, in the past. And I'm sure we've all experienced that. But what I will say to you is that you do need to be very careful. I mean, even if they do value you again, I can tell you that whatever you thought you had in the beginning, the false character, the love bombing, the idealization, the treatment that you received, it's not going to be like that again. Yeah, they may love bomb you again, but it's not going to be the same. The best that it gets is at the very beginning. That is as good as it gets. Especially since you start to catch on, you recognize that it is an illusion, it is fake, after they've gone and devalued you. So it's not just on their end, it's even if they gave you everything they've got, you're not going to believe that it's real. You're going to see through it. So it's not going to have the same feeling that it did in the beginning. And another thing is that even after that very short period of time, after they may decide to love bomb you again, you know what's going to come after that? Devaluation again. And if you thought that was bad the first time, the second time is much worse. Because they're comfortable with you now. What they did to you the last time, that became normal. So it's only going to escalate after that. The more time you spend around them, the more they will devalue you. And the worse the abuse and mistreatment will get. It is not going to get better. I've never really heard anyone say that they've been with a narcissist, a self-absorbed person who lacks empathy, and things have gotten better over time. No one ever says that. They all say that it gets worse. The more time that you spend around them. Yeah, it's just going to get worse and worse. It's essentially the same thing as, I'll be honest, I haven't done this for a while. Because as you know, I am a vegan and I haven't seen any vegan Ben & Jerry's ice cream for quite a long time. But it's essentially the same thing as you got a nice big tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream in your freezer. You pull it out. You start digging away, consuming it, enjoying it. And yeah, that's like the love bombing. Just eating the ice cream, it tastes great. Creamy texture, even if it's vegan. It's still so good. So just digging away at the tub, just consuming this Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And you're enjoying every spoonful of it. Yeah, that's the love bombing. The problem is, it's only a matter of time until it starts to have an effect on you. You start to experience feelings of guilt. As though you did something wrong, you did a bad action. And not only that, you may then have a bad stomach. You may start to feel sick. You may start to feel like something is not right inside of you. And then it's like you look back and you're thinking, was that really worth it? Just for that short period of time of the love bombing, Was it really worth it? Just so afterwards I could feel guilty, like I've done something wrong, maybe even regretful, nauseous. Was it really worth it for that? And not only that, but it's like maybe you were on a diet, not just from Ben and Jerry's ice cream, from narcissistic abuse. Yes, maybe you were on a diet from that. And the more time you spend away from it, like any addiction, it could be Ben and Jerry's ice cream, but then it could also be alcohol, tobacco. It could be anything or anyone. Because as we know, addictions can be to people sometimes as well. And it's like the longer you spend away from that person or that substance, the better you feel. But then it's like the moment you go back to it, then it's got that hold on you again. Now suddenly it's controlling your life, your feelings and emotions. You've been pulled back into it again. And once you get pulled into it, it's very hard to get back out. Once you're stuck in it, you're relished in it, you're smothered in it, you're rolling around in it, you're partaking in it, you're enjoying it. It is very hard to just step aside from it and just leave it alone. Because it may bring back memories that you had before when you used to enjoy it. It may have been a favorite activity to you, to spend time participating in this. And this could be eating Ben and Jerry's ice cream, or it could be some other kind of addiction. Because let's be honest, I mean, Ben and Jerry's ice cream, it is addictive. It's not healthy. Even the vegan one, that's still a lot of calories, a lot of sugar. And that's really what we need to do. We need to recognize that this person is not healthy. They're not good for us. They're bad for our health. So I guess, all in all, what it comes down to is, forget about making the narcissist value you again. Who cares if they value you or not? The real question is, and what you need to ask yourself is, do I value myself? Do I respect myself? Because if the answer is no, then that's clearly something that we need to work on. Because we should value and respect ourselves. And we should be more worried about that, rather than being so focused on whether or not the narcissist values us. And the reason for that is because who cares if they value you or not? What difference does that make for you? Do you value them? If you do, why? What value have they ever brought to your life? They are low value people. They're negative. They can only take value away. They have no value to bring to you. It's quite ironic when you think about it. I mean, the title of this video, making the narcissist value you again. But, that's really the irony of it, is that making them value you when it's like, do you even value them? And if you do, should you? Have you received anything of value from them? This is the thing. If you were desiring for a narcissist to value you, I can tell you why you are doing that. And the reason why is because you have externalized your value. And you need to learn to value yourself, to respect yourself, to love yourself. And I'm not saying you haven't been doing that already. Maybe you have, but you need to do that more. If you really care about whether or not this narcissist values you and you want them to value you again, it's because you're externalizing your value. You need to bring your value back within yourself. Validate yourself. Write a gratitude list. Things you're grateful for. Read it out every day. Positive affirmations. Yes, these things actually work. I've tried it myself. And as you can see, I am very confident in myself and my own abilities. I am a super confident person. I love myself. I value myself. And there is nothing inside of myself that thinks otherwise. There isn't a cell in my body that believes that I am not enough. And I want that for you as well. Because that's the thing. When you value yourself, you respect yourself, you're not going to care if they don't value you, if they value you or not. You're not going to be concerned about that. Because even then, it's just superficial value. It has no depth. It has no substance. There's not going to be any real connection. So what good is it? What good is that if it's not even real? If it's just an ego trip, a delusion, what good is that for you? Those of you who want something long term, you want a future, you want to live in reality, then it's no good. So let them run off and continue to exist in their little fantasy world inside their heads. You do not have to be a part of it. You do not have to participate in it. You could be you, just as I can be me. And they can be whatever they think they are, whatever they think is better for them. That makes them happy. Of course, as we know, it doesn't. They can never be happy, but their delusional minds, it makes them feel better in that moment. It distracts them from their pain, from their insecurity, their low self-esteem. Because yes, they are very insecure when they are around high-value people. Problem is, you cannot lift them up. And the reason why is because they are too low down. So you can't pick their heads up out of that, because they are far too low. All that's going to happen is that they're going to pull you down with them. And that's why I say you just got to step away from it, leave it alone. Focus your attention on something else. Now that is very effective. I mean, at some point you gotta notice that you're directing all of your energy and attention to this thing, and it's getting sucked into a void. Nothing is being reciprocated back to you. At some point you have to recognize that and then redirect your focus. Put it on something that is going to serve you, that is going to benefit you, that is going to improve your life. That's what I had to do earlier on my journey as well. At some point I started to realize, hold on a minute. I've been directing my energy and attention to certain people, certain things, certain activities every day. All of this time, all of these years, it's gotten me nowhere. Because all of that stuff just went into a void and it was never reciprocated back to me. So then I started to shift my focus onto other things. Things that would serve me. Things that would reciprocate something back to me. Things that would do that for me. Of course, when you shift your focus onto some of the things, and suddenly it's not just all of your energy getting drained into a void. You're getting something back now. Now things are being reciprocated back to you. And it's making you feel good about yourself. It's making you feel more confident, happy. You don't feel that way with a narcissist though, do you? And yet you're worried about making them value you again. Just so you can go back into the void, back into their cave of darkness, where they strip all of the energy out of you. All of your confidence and enthusiasm. So yeah, direct your energy, attention, and focus onto things that are serving you. That's really what you need to do. Notice how things are making you feel. Anything that you are consuming, people, foods, content on YouTube, whatever it is, ask yourself, how is this making me feel? Does this make me feel good? Does this make me feel cured, understood? Or do I feel neglected and confused? Do I feel like I'm giving everything out and I'm getting nothing back? And if that's how you feel, leave it alone. At least take a break from it. Maybe come back to it at a later date. And then examine how you feel again. And if it's still the same, then maybe you should leave it alone for good. Or at the very least, consume less of it. Like with the Ben and Jerry's example. I mean, if you're eating a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream in one go, and then you're feeling guilty, you're feeling sick. But then at the same time, it's like a treat for you. Because you work hard, you go to the gym several days a week. That's like your little treat at the end of the week. And just split it up, have half. And then have the other half after a few days. You don't have to eat it all in one go. But then if it's really that bad and you're just having half a tub of Ben and Jerry's, you're still feeling sick, you're still feeling guilty, maybe it's time to leave it alone. Try something else. In anything, it's all about the feeling. Why do we do the things that we do? Why do we consume the content that we consume? Why do we eat the foods that we eat? Why do we engage in addictions such as tobacco, alcohol, or drugs? Why do we get into these relationships? It's all because of one thing. That's why we do it. And that one thing is the feeling that we get from it. Or it's the feeling that we think we're going to get from it. And maybe we do get a little bit of it in the beginning, but as time goes by, then we don't get that feeling anymore. Then it becomes negative feelings. So yeah, in anything, this is what we must identify. How is this making you feel right now? Is this making you feel good? And if the answer is yes, then great. Keep doing it, keep enjoying it. Why stop if it's making you feel good and it's not harming anyone else around you? Then why would you stop doing it? If it makes you feel bad, if it makes you feel sick, upset, guilty, whatever negative emotion it may be, that's probably a sign that you should step away from it. And it may not be a completely bad thing altogether. It may just not be good for us. Narcissists, they're not good for anyone or anything. They're not even good for themselves. But yeah, that is the message. for today. To get the narcissist to value you again. For those of you who want to know, but of course, as I said, I do not advise that. They're not worth it, they're really not. There's so many better things you could be doing with your time other than being around these narcs. But yeah, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up down below. It helps the YouTube algorithm to get this message out there to other survivors as well. It's very important because they may need it, just as you did today. And also let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I read your comments every day. Hit that subscribe button and click all notifications so that you will be notified when I upload a video in the future. And if you would like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, just go to my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's Narc Survivor YouTube. Again, thank you all for watching and for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video. I do appreciate you all. And as always, I look forward to talking with you in another one very soon.